We begin with that breaking news. Fighting is underway in Gaza again.
Israel has launched a new wave of airstrikes within the last few hours, heaviest assault since the ceasefire took effect in January. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he ordered the attacks because of a lack of progress in the talks to extend the ceasefire and release the Israeli hostages. He says the operation is open-ended and expected to expand. Palestinian leaders are reporting at least 200 deaths in tonight's airstrikes. Hamas says the airstrikes violated the ceasefire and put the fate of the hostages in jeopardy. The Trump administration says Israel gave them a heads up ahead of time.
A home is lost tonight after a fast-moving fire sparked near Berthoud today. It was a small fire, but quick to spread, at one point prompting mandatory evacuations for the neighborhood.
Tonight, winds are starting to calm down, and that is helping fears of fires along the Front Range. 9 News reporter Rachel Krause has the latest from Larimer County.
Monday's blustery afternoon brought scary moments for families living in Rainbow Lake Estates near Berthoud after a grass fire sparked evacuations and burned a home. Living in the shadow of the foothills, the fear of fire is never far from folks' minds.
And I think you always see people burning stuff, and it doesn't take much to get out of control.
That's a feeling Sydney and Jason Slauson know all too well.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
They were coming back from getting groceries when their neighbor called to tell them there was a grass fire.
And I told these guys to pack a bag and make sure that they had, whatever they needed for a quick getaway. And
That grass fire picked up traction. A home close to theirs caught fire.
So it's really, really close, like a mile probably away, so yeah.
at the west part of the neighborhood, you could see flames from that other property. So
Mandatory evacuations went in place for their neighborhood. Voluntary evacuations were put in place nearby. With the Marshall Fire on their minds, the Slausons moved quickly.
it's at the top of your mind, and so you're obviously concerned and stuff. So we had, I took videos before I left, stuff like that, grabbed the pets, and then got out of there.
I heard like sirens going off within like 2 minutes, everything. It was like, I heard the sirens going off a lot, so.
And then they went door to door, marked everybody's mailbox.
Within hours, firefighters had the fire fully contained. No one was hurt. 30 acres burned. The Larimer County Sheriff says one house was damaged by the fire. They believe the fire started near the home.
Obviously, hearts go out to the people that lost the house. But again, thankful for the fire department and the sheriff's department.
The Poudre Valley REA says 2 power poles were burned, and crews were out within hours to replace them and restore power for the area. Sydney and Jason say they're relieved to be back home already, grateful this wasn't worse, at least for them.
For us, the power will come back on, for the people that lost the house, that's,
Yeah,
it's
unfortunate.
yeah.
As for what caused the fire, officials say that's still under investigation. In Larimer County, Rachel Krause, 9 News.
Dry brush, low humidity, and strong winds helped to push along 2 brush fires this afternoon in Aurora. Flames got going near the Jewel Wetlands Park, burning about 2 acres before firefighters got it under control. Then another fire popped up by Blackstone Country Club. That one got to be about 3 acres before crews got a handle. No structures were damaged in either fire. No injuries were reported. The cause is still under investigation.
All things considered, Kathy, firefighters, made good work of their time today because this could have been really bad.
Yes, and we're still tracking the wind tonight, Kim, ahead of a storm system that's bringing in cloud cover, but not a lot of moisture, not yet. The clouds did produce a beautiful sunset along the Front Range, but the wind is not entirely calm. It's come down from many areas, but that red flag warning will be reinstated again tomorrow. Winds out of the southwest 20 to 25 miles per hour, better than the 80 mile per hour gusts that we saw earlier. But after a little lull in the action overnight, the winds increase out of the southwest, then shift coming in out of the northwest in the afternoon on the backside of a fast-moving storm that will create elevated fire danger ahead of its arrival. We also have advisories for wind in eastern Colorado, southeastern Colorado, a high wind warning for gusts to 80 miles per hour. Temperatures are still very mild in the mid-50s after a high of 74 in Denver, just missed the record of 76. And we love seeing the snow on the radar. More of this to come tomorrow. Winter weather and travel advisories for the mountains and for the eastern plains due to the potential for blizzard conditions and difficult driving tomorrow. A mild night tonight, but we're tracking a fast-moving storm that will impact travel across the state tomorrow. The timing and impact is just ahead.
The former Mesa County clerk, who's serving time for breaching her county's own election systems, trying to prove President Trump's 2020 election rigging claims, now says that negotiations could free her from jail. Tina Peters is just 6 months into a 9-year sentence. One candidate running to lead the state GOP is even calling for President Trump to withhold federal funding from Colorado in order to pressure Democratic Governor Jared Polis into pardoning Peters. She's sentenced for state crimes, so President Trump does not have pardon power. Our Spencer Soysher talked with Peters today in a video call from the Larimer County Jail.
Support a quid pro quo where President Trump got involved and threatened to withhold funding from Colorado in exchange for the governor pardoning you.
Well, I wouldn't use the word threatened. That to me, that's a little bit abrasive and strong. Sounds very strong arm. But I think, like I said before, I think negotiations, I think it's the right thing to do for Governor Polis to pardon me. You know,
But what about the withholding of funds part?
if there's funds that are for programs that the governor wants, but the president doesn't feel like, or his staff doesn't feel like are necessary, there may be some a give or take there.
Spokesperson for Governor Polis said Polis is not interested in a quid pro quo, trading a pardon for federal funding. The governor's office also noted that Peters has not officially applied for a pardon. The Trump Justice Department is getting involved in her appeal and also said it's going to investigate Peters' prosecution for what the Trump Justice Department called abuses of the criminal justice process.
9 News Investigates has learned a man convicted of killing a Denver police officer is trying to shave decades off his 80-year prison sentence. Raul Gomez Garcia shot and killed Detective Donnie Young in 2005. Then he fled to Mexico. The government there allowed his extradition only after then District Attorney Mitch Morrissey, a Democrat, agreed to take first-degree murder and the possibility of either a life sentence or the death penalty off the table. Gomez Garcia is now eligible for a program designed to give a second chance to some people who committed serious crimes before they turned 21 years old. Morrissey is hoping to prevent an early release.
Yeah, it was a compromised case from the beginning because of what we were forced to do to get him back here to face justice.
It is up to the head of the Colorado Department of Corrections to decide whether to grant Gomez Garcia's request to get into that program. If he agrees, Gomez Garcia could be eligible for parole in 3 years.
Denver City Council is moving forward with a plan to rebrand the 16th Street Mall once it fully reopens this summer. City Council voted 10-3 tonight to approve $1.9 million for the project. The hope is to bring people back to that area that struggled due to long-time construction and crime. The city plans to fund security and to bring in events aiming to transform the mall's image.
I believe downtown's economic strength helps the entire city.
In the budget environment that we're in and that we're going into, I don't feel like this is a use of funds that I can vote yes on tonight, not for any lack of excitement about the revitalized 16th Street Mall. It's just a matter of priorities.
City says the mall has experienced a 35% decrease in property and sales tax revenue since the start of the pandemic. City says it lost out on $45 million because of that. The iconic orange Flight for Life Colorado helicopters and planes will soon be repainted pink. 50 years after those helicopters started flying out of St. Anthony Hospital, the hospital's owner, Common Spirit, announced today that Flight for Life will be repainted pink to, quote, align with the Common Spirit brand. Change is not exactly popular with the folks weighing in on Flight for Life's Facebook page. A ton of folks who oppose the idea, some saying they're worried about decreased visibility in the skies, increased danger to pilots, crew, and patients in the high country if they go from the high visibility orange to pink.
A fire station in Aurora that's been around for decades will be demolished tomorrow. Fire Station 9 is on East Mexico Avenue near 225. It was built in 1979. The fire department says it's showing signs of structural issues with cracks and gaps between walls and floors. The demolition will make room for the construction of a new 2-story building. It will have 11 dorm rooms, 8 bathrooms, along with a kitchen, offices, and a gym. The demolition construction costs are estimated at $9.3 million. The fire department says much of it will be paid through American Rescue Plan Act funding.
This week, teachers are preparing to pack the state capitol.
The Colorado Education Association is hosting a statewide day of action on Thursday to protest potential school funding cuts. 9 News reporter Janelle Finch is in Denver tonight, and Janelle, hundreds of teachers are planning to go.
Yeah, in response to the number of staff and teachers expected to be here at the Capitol later this week, some Colorado school districts are canceling classes. One of them is Adams 12. I spoke to a mom in the district who says she's planning on driving down from Erie to Denver to fight for properly funded education. Parents want the best for their kids. Drew Patton
Absolutely.
says she found the best for her two daughters at Thunder Vista P-8.
The school alone was what brought us there. The community is what's keeping us there, and it's been really amazing.
Her passion for the school and the people in it is bringing her to the front lines of Colorado lawmakers.
Me and my kids are already really active in the community and trying to support the school and the staff and the teachers in any way that we can, and this was just one more to add to it.
Adams 12 5-star schools has announced classes will be canceled Thursday due to labor shortages. The district says hundreds of teachers are calling off to attend the Colorado Education Association's rally at the Capitol. CEA says state legislators are considering a budget with a new funding formula that would cut nearly $150 million to schools across the state. Patton says she knows her kid's school would see immediate change.
One of the biggest things that, I think everybody struggles with across the board right now is finding and keeping that talent. But if budget cuts, were to get implemented, then there goes a lot of that staff that we already try to retain, that staff that's hard to get.
She says her kid's day off will be a day on for their household, standing alongside teachers on the Capitol steps.
Ready to get their signs out and start getting crafty.
She says in order for her kids' school to be the best, they need to fight for the best.
I really hope for the sake of all of the kids in Colorado and the rest of the states that, we manage to pull something together so that they are all given the right to this education that they really do deserve.
We asked Colorado's largest school district, Denver Public Schools, if they have any plans to cancel classes on Thursday. They say they're keeping an eye on the number of educators and will announce plans as soon as possible. Live in Denver, Janelle Finch, 9 News.